We're back with Kyle Bimm.
You got it.
Not fine?
Yeah.
I've been butchering everybody's name.
That's
So
okay.
let me butcher the company's name.
Okay, sounds good.
Liscena.
You got it. First try. That's rare.
I want Liscena.
Oh no, you had it right the first time.
Liscena.
Which is very rare. Liscena. Yes.
Okay, what is Liscena?
So Liscena, what we do is we build for P&C carriers a digital communications platform that facilitates really easy and painless interactions between policyholders and adjusters throughout the claims process.
Okay, so claims focused.
Claims focused.
Okay, so why Liscena? They're adjusters and claims just kind of magically happen.
Yes.
What could possibly be broken?
What could possibly be broken in claims? Well, I think there's two big things. So obviously we know a lot of carriers are on digital transformations right now,
Mm-hmm.
right? That's a huge, topic of the day for I think most companies.
Yep.
And so we're helping carriers along that path, and we focus on two main things. So the first one we focus on is customer experience. Customer experience is finally getting the light that it deserves, I think, in the claims process, especially since it's such an important touch point, right?
Probably the second most important touch point.
Once you are,
but once it happens, it's the most important touch point.
Absolutely, you're delivering on the promise that you sold them.
That's right.
To begin with.
Yeah.
So we focus on that customer experience. Now, the number one reason that you leave your insurance company, or the biggest driver of retention risk, is a poor claims experience. And 85% of that feeling is coming from whether or not I thought I was, really engaged with and thought that claims experience was really transparent.
Mm-hmm.
So we want to be able to give that to policyholders. And the second part is that adjusters understand that we as digital natives in the 21st century want to be communicated with on all sorts of digital platforms that we're already used to communicating on, but they don't have the tools to do that. And a third of their time is spent fielding really low order requests and tasks, picking up calls to say, well, what's going on with my claim, or where's the status of this? And so we create a platform that enables us as policyholders, as everyday people, to be able to get that information really quickly, while reducing the amount of human time necessary to make that happen. So our artificial intelligence engine.
I saw AI.
You see AI,
yeah.
of course, the buzzword,
Yeah.
yes. So our deep learning engine sits on this communication channel that we've built and understands the context of the communications in real time, can actually automate not only the interactions, but some of the decisions on behalf of the adjusters throughout that entire communication process.
Okay, so let's take a step back.
Sure.
Because I don't think anyone watching this would deny that there's issues in claims.
Absolutely.
So a solution is valuable, but how did you get to this point? What were you doing before Liscena?
Sure.
And when did the light bulb go off in your head?
So my team, my co-founder Hal and I, we were both engineers at the University of Toronto, which
Mm-hmm.
is really the birthplace of artificial
It's
intelligence.
and we might as well not be in Des Moines. We might as well be in Canada. You're like...
We have big representation here. Yeah, there's some sort of sister cities thing going on, I think, with Toronto. It's
amazing. Okay,
yeah,
well,
absolutely.
I'm going to make fun of you in a few minutes, but go ahead.
Canadians
Sorry.
are used to it, right? So we both have backgrounds in enterprise artificial intelligence, and we're actually trying to ship some slightly different products within the insurance space initially. And we found the carriers really liked that, but when we went to go in and try to implement a lot of this, we were blown away by the fact that insurance companies didn't have the necessary digital channels to make any kind of real-time analysis
Mm-hmm.
or, for lack of a better word, automation happen. It's very hard to run AI on a faxed claim, for example. So, what we realized is that we were trying to run before we were crawling as an industry. So by laying out this communication platform that we're doing, where you can deal with first notice of loss on Facebook, or get updates on what's going on in your claim on WhatsApp or text or anything like that, what you're really building is like the foundation for digital experiences moving forward.
Yeah. So, how did the Accelerator help? How did you find out about it?
Sure.
And what has it done for you?
Well, a couple of things. So I had a individual that I know from Rain from Jonathan. So he was here 2 years ago, and met him just in Toronto.
Canadian?
He's also from Toronto.
Jeez.
Just a local watering hole. We bumped into each other, and he was.
There's an inbred joke there, but I'm not gonna say it.
Yeah, he was evangelizing the program, and when alumni really evangelize a accelerator, that means something. So we've went through one or two, and so that's something we found. Bumped into Brian and InsurTech Connect, and I think the thing that really sold me was they were very transparent on what they thought to be the pros and cons of their
Yep.
accelerator. A lot of people will try to sell you on the dream, and that doesn't generally.
It's not for everybody.
It doesn't transpire
Yeah.
all the time, right? And so they're very blunt on this. We're good at, and this is where we think we're not so good. And the things they were good at were things that we needed. So we had a very deep technology background, anyways, and we had some obviously experience in the Canadian market, but it was time for us to make the leap into the United States. And so this program, really filled the biggest gap that we were having at that point, which was how are we going to get a foothold here quickly?
Yeah.
And the space that we're in is land and expand right now, right? This is a hot topic, everyone's trying.
Yeah.
So just the unprecedented level of access to a lot of impressive carriers and really, really helpful people across so many different companies. You can't typically get that, in any amount of time, let alone 100 days. So
Trevor Gary, Gary Trevor, whatever his name is. He was talking about discomfort.
Yeah.
He was saying how the process of refiguring the deck, reevaluating the business model. He said that discomfort proved so incredibly helpful.
Mm-hmm.
How much of that? How much has your model evolved since you first got started?
Well, I think we're a little different from some of the companies. So we came in with a more, let's say, established product on the technology side, but we were still, I would say, in the infant stages, really understanding what our pricing model was going to look like.
Okay.
And we came in perhaps with some naivety of, well, we'll sell this to every insurance company. And so what this program has done for us is really forced us, backs against the wall of, well, who really is your customer? Who's your first customer? You're 0 to 1. There is a difference when you're selling to a huge company like Allstate or to a much, much smaller carrier, right? But a much, much smaller one may not actually be bad. And so what we've realized is we have a sweet spot. And that was a painful experience to figure out that there is
who we can't have as a customer. We don't want to pitch
who's
to.
not day one, right?
Yeah.
And so you get some no's and you get some, every once in a while a yes pops up. So I think that a lot of our discomfort came from pushing us to that next level, but getting that discomfort over quickly. It's a rip the Band-Aid off thing. Get that done in 100 days. You can't ask for more than that.
How helpful is it? You walk out there, I should take some video to show what it's like out there. Everyone's in the same pod, basically. You have a couple quiet areas that you can go to.
Yeah, the fishbowl.
But it's fishbowl. You can hear everyone talking. There are probably a lot of phone conversations that you overhear. I would imagine there are trade-offs with that as well. In that you can stand up and bounce an idea off of Gary. I'm gonna keep doing that. But you can bounce ideas off of people immediately.
Exactly.
Not on Slack, not on email, not let's meet somewhere 2 weeks from now when I'm in Chicago, but immediately you can bounce ideas off of that. But there's also a humming and a buzzing going on, which for me would be difficult to allow me to focus, especially if I were developing software or whatever. Can you talk about that? Talk about what the environment, the atmosphere, the collegiality that goes on out there. It's like a college, like a study hall.
It is. I'd say it's a little bit nicer than a college study hall, and our food's better, so that's important. I think there's a couple of things. So I'm gonna be very biased. I'm very pro-heavy on this. So we've done one or two of the Accelerator, everybody's in one room, shared working space experiences, and they've always been great. I think what really sets the GIA apart, and perhaps you'll see it when you take a photo or a video in a little while, is that there is a very large range of backgrounds, ages. It's a very diverse group.
Yes.
And so, when you go to your typical accelerator, it's generally like 26-year-old guys, on big bang chairs playing GameCube and writing code, right? It can be a very one-size-fits-all type of group, and there's pros to that for sure. But with this, you have there's a 35-year age range between the youngest and the oldest guys in this program, from just so many different industries and so many different backgrounds that when you're talking about pinging someone, I can ping someone that would be very hard for me to get a hold of normally, right? In a small amount of time, I can talk to Jake, who's been in sales for a couple of different industries for 20-some years. I can be talking to Rich, who's been doing this for a really long time too, but from a more on the deeper on the science side, you can ask those kinds of questions, right? So having access to a lot of different people from a lot of different niches is great. is it noisy? I guess, but when you're overhearing these phone calls, someone's crushing something or someone's landing a deal, that just inspires you,
Yeah.
right? But usually it's Liscena doing that, so the rest of the group gets to be a little more inspired.
Yeah.
There's a humble break there.
Okay, so toughest question of them all.
Okay.
Right now. Tonight, Game 7, Maple Leafs Bruins. Who do you got?
Well, I'm gonna have to go with the Maple Leafs, right? I'm not a betting man, so I'll keep it over there. But
Jim?
Bruins.
Well, I genuinely hope that you're sorry on that one because I think it's our turn. I think you've knocked us out the last 2 years in a row now, so I think it's time for Austin Matthews and the guys to get a turn to the second round. So
Good luck to Liscena,
you got
but
it.
not to the Maple Leafs.
Can't believe we're shaking
Awesome.
hands on that one.
Kyle Bimm.
Thank you very much, guys.